Hello and welcome back one and all. We are here today because we are doing the review for ArchMage Class and we're going to get straight into this one. So overall I've given ArchMage a rank S for reasons we will get into later. Ultimately this is a farming class and it is insanely good at doing that. It's just other areas it falls a little bit short. Let us begin with looking at the skills. Feel free to skip on to a different section if you already know these. So the auto attack, reduce enemy dodge by 35%, damage by 25% and crit chance by 15% for 20 seconds. Your second skill is Immolation. This one removes cryostasis and deals more damage the lower your MP and leaves enemies with a damage over time based on the damage dealt. Stacks to 2, lasts 6 seconds. Your third skill is Glacial Impact. You get 15 mana, applies cryostasis, reducing enemy hit chance and damage dealt by 30%, while they also take a 30% increased damage for 6 seconds. Skill 4 is Supernova. In a nutshell, this one deals more damage the lower your HP is. And then Arcane Sigil, the most interesting one. Skill 5, this one deals true damage, 40% damage to yourself based on your current HP, and it will apply an Arcane Sigil, increasing magic power and also increases damage dealt by 30% for 30 seconds, also increases mana cost by 50% for 4 seconds. We're going to get a bit more into that in just a moment once we've looked over the two previous passives. Increase your hit chance and your crit chance by 25%, and your other passive also gives you a 15% haste increase. Your final passive allows you to use this class in two different ways. So casting Sigil with Arcane Flux applies Corporal Ascension, that's basically survivability, 250% endurance increase, 60% crit chance and a large heal over time based on your mana at the time. And then if you cast another Sigil, this time whilst in Corporal Ascension, this will shift you essentially into a DPS mode and apply Astral Ascension, giving you rapid mana regen, a 60% damage over time damage increase, 20% dodge, 5% haste and a small heal over time based on your mana. And when it says small, it is pretty small on that one. It goes without saying ArchMage is easily an S tier farming class. It has great damage output, and the most interesting thing with this class is it is purposely built to scale up incredibly high with forge enhancements such as Acheron and Ezlion. However, for today we are looking just at the base class, so we won't be running any fancy enhancements apart from potentially a health vamp on the blinding lights. Personally, I have found ArchMage to be considerably better when you're farming higher HP mobs. You actually manage to get your rotations in. Whilst you can spam away with this class, it's not really the best way of going about it. If you're looking for that kind of farmer, definitely stick with your Legion Revenant and, as we've just found, the recently buffed Necronomancer. I certainly wouldn't be using this for lower HP mobs, presuming you already have one of the classes we previously spoke about, such as Legion Revenant, probably even Dragon of Time as well, to be honest with you. But as we said, with Forge enhancements you can get this well above 10,000 damage per second. For anyone interested in rotations, the way I go about using this class usually, I just straight up hit 5, get your first Arcane Sigil going, then go 4-2, 4-2 until you need to start hitting 3 when your mana starts running low, and as soon as you want to switch up your DPS and get some higher damage going, hit 5 again, then go back to hitting 4, 2 and 3. You can do that pretty much in a spam way, because at this point, soon as you're running Astral Ascension, your mana is just going to be popping off anyway, so that won't be an issue anymore. You only need to be a bit more conservative with it when you're using your first form, when you've got Corporal Ascension on the go. Now let us move on to soloing. So this one gets an A-. The reason I've gone actually, in my opinion, fairly high with this, all things considered, is the fact that the survivability on this class is really, really good. You're not going to be dying, to be honest, with the vast majority of enemies in this game, and you do apply some quite nice debuffs to them. The only problem really is the sheer damage output you're doing. It's not very high for a soloing class, so you wouldn't actually go about using this. But if for some reason you haven't got any other soloing class in the game, which would be absolutely crazy, ArchMage will do the job. While you're using the class, I would fully recommend hitting 5 fairly regularly, but don't go spamming it, because that won't do you any favours, as it just keeps on reducing your health by 40% each time. So use it wisely, as you will want that damage over time coming back when you're running Astral. Anyway, PvP B+. This is not a PvP class, and to be quite frank, it's really annoying having that skill 5 on there, which takes away so much of your HP. You don't want that in a PvP class. Having said that, whilst it will struggle against stunners, and actually that's fair to say for the vast majority of classes in game, you can't can't really do much when you're stunned. It isn't a total flop. You will still win some battles. Granted, in this case, not against a shaman, but that's just the way it goes. However, when we take on Lightcaster, we have a little bit more luck. Although, I think that was mainly because I tried using my brain a bit more with skill 5 to rapidly get out of healing mode and get into DPS mode and just let the damage over time do the talking. Then we actually found we had a little bit of success, but as soon as we went up against yet another class afterwards, we were also back to square one. But fundamentally, we mustn't forget, this is a farming class with a little bit of support thrown in there, and at base level alone, it is incredibly good. Like I said, it was on par with things like Legion, Revenant, Necromancer when farming in a room with higher HP mobs. However, as this is a farming class, overall it's getting that S tier rank. PvP was a B+, and Solo was an A-. At one point I was actually debating putting this in the A category, but the pure potential you can get with Archmage, as well as the amount of DPS you're doing against those higher HP mobs, just brings it straight back up there. Stay tuned for more class reviews, and I will be bringing you damage comparisons between Archmage and the other top tier farmers in the game, so keep your eyes out for that. And until next time, have a lovely day, make sure you leave a like, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you all again incredibly soon.